Hello, church. This is reason number 13 to rehearse the gospel to yourself every day. And the title of this reason is The Gospel Stimulates Us to Love Others. And so here we go. When my mind is fixed on the gospel, I have ample stimulation to show God's love to other people. For I am always willing to show love to others when I am freshly mindful of the love that God has shown me. Also, the gospel gives me the wherewithal to give forgiving grace to those who have wronged me. For it reminds me daily of the forgiving grace that God is showing me. So Ephesians 4:32 says, "Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving each other, just as God in Christ has forgiven you." So we're commanded to do something hard. Like right before that, he says, put away bitterness, put away malice, put away anger, and instead have a tender heart towards people. Instead, be kind to them. Instead, forgive them. And so how do we do that? Because sometimes we find those things hard to do. Sometimes we find those things almost impossible to do. And he says, you are going to be able to forgive as you experience God's forgiveness of you through Christ. So forgive one another as God in Christ forgave you. That means that the more I am aware, the more I'm dwelling on, the more I'm amazed that God would forgive me, that Christ would die for me, the more I'm aware of my sin and my failings and my need for grace and mercy, and the more just full of gratitude I am towards Jesus for forgiving me and being patient with me, the more that's where I'm living in my heart and in my soul, the easier it will be to forgive others. It will, when somebody sins against us and asks us for forgiveness, it'll be a privilege, it'll be a joy to be able to give to others what Jesus has given to us and what has changed our life. And so it's going to be hard to forgive. And if you find yourself having a hard time forgiving, having a hard time letting things go, go back and think, how much am I dwelling on? How much am I confessing to God and experiencing His fresh mercy and forgiveness? And maybe start there and let God soften your heart through His mercy. The last paragraph of this section says, doing good and showing love to those who have wronged me is always the opposite of what my sinful flesh wants me to do. Nonetheless, when I remind myself of my sins against God and of His forgiving and generous grace towards me, I give the gospel an opportunity to reshape my perspective and to put me in a frame of mind where I actually desire to give this same grace to those who have wronged me. So think in your marriage, think with your kids, think this is an opportunity for the grace of Jesus to shine. When you're sinned against, even when you sin against somebody else, think this is a chance for the forgiveness of God, for the gospel to be demonstrated in my home, in my neighborhood, in my extended family, as we give grace and ask for mercy. All right, God bless you guys. See you soon.